Wednesday, March 25th, the Feast of the Annunciation. Two of the most important and powerful words in any language are the two words no and yes. And today's readings show us how important those words can be in our spiritual lives. In the first reading from Isaiah, we have a situation where Ahaz is the king of the southern kingdom of Judah. By this point, the people of Israel, of God's people, have been divided into two kingdoms. In the north is the kingdom of Israel, and the south, the kingdom of Judah. Ahaz is king of the southern kingdom, and at this point, the kingdom of Israel, along with their Syrian allies, are ready to attack Jerusalem. So Ahaz is very afraid. God sends Isaiah the prophet to tell Ahaz to trust in God, that God will make sure that Jerusalem will not be conquered. And in order to prove that, Isaiah tells Ahaz, ask God for a sign and he'll show you that he means what he says, that Jerusalem will be safe. So Ahaz refuses to ask God for a sign. And at first that sounds like a very pious thing. He doesn't want to test God, but it's basically because he's afraid of trusting God. He's afraid of what God might ask him by trusting him. Ahaz would rather rely on his own power and his own political alliances with other countries. So Ahaz basically says no in answer to God's question, will you trust me? Will you take a leap of faith? And as difficult as this situation sounds, will you trust me? Ahaz says no. In total contrast, in the gospel, we have the Blessed Virgin Mary, who says yes to the angel Gabriel, telling her that she is going to be the mother of the Messiah. She says yes to God and God's plan for her life. Her yes is absolute. It means that she knows she's going to have to give up the quiet life she had planned with her beloved Joseph, to live in Nazareth, a nice, quiet life there. She knows that this yes of hers is going to turn her life upside down. God's plan is different from what she had planned for herself. And yet, in spite of the risks to her personal reputation, she knows in a small town like Nazareth, people are going to find out that she's pregnant and Joseph is not the father, that she could be rejected and even shunned by her own people, and she could even be stoned to death. So she's risking her own life and her reputation in saying yes to God. Mary says yes. In our own lives, the word no can be a very positive and good word. We have to say no to temptation, no to the devil, no to our own ego at times. During Lent, we say no to our desires to have things that we normally have. We willingly give them up. We say no to them, no to ourselves. But when we say no to God, especially when God asks us, like he asked Ahaz and he asked Mary, will you trust me? Will you take a leap of faith? Even though you don't know how this is going to work out, will you trust me? We have to say yes. We have to follow Mary's example and not Ahaz's example. That's the lesson of the scriptures. That's the lesson of this feast. Because Mary said yes, it turned her life upside down, but her yes meant the beginning of the salvation of the entire world. So my brothers and sisters, there is great power in saying no. There is greater power in saying yes, especially when we say yes to God. May we always do that and tell God, yes, Lord, I trust you no matter what.